Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Oh, pretty well. Not doing too bad. Just trying to stay warm still.
Yeah, it is still cold, that's for sure.
I think we're going to have a heat wave tomorrow. I think it's supposed to get up to about 19.
I don't know if that's a heat wave.
Well, compared to the last few days, it is.
That's definitely warmer, I'll give you that. Let's see. I didn't have a very good night last night on my picks. 0-2 in the football. Steelers looked like they came back, looked like they were going to cover, and then fell apart there at the end. Didn't cover the +10, and then the Eagles just got fucking blown out by the Bucks. That was never even close. Only thing that kept it close there for a little bit was the Bucks settled for so many field goals in the first half, but Bucks scored every time they touched the ball in that first half.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I did pretty well. I went 5-2 last night. I went 2-0 on my NFL, went 1-1 on my college, and 2-1 on my NHL.
I was 2-1 in the NBA and 1-2 in the NHL last night. So I was 3-5 for the night. That puts me at 51-44 on the year.
I'm 52-37 right now.
Hey, how's it going, Glenn?
Hey, Mike Lee.
Hey, how's it going, Mike? Yeah. So what do you think about the games last night? You had Buffalo beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh off to a terrible start, then got back in the game, and then kind of fell apart there toward the end. And then of course the Bucks just killed the Eagles. That wasn't even competitive.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And a lot of people calling for Sirianni to be let go. Do you think he should be let go? Your own personal opinion. My own personal opinion, no. What do you think?
I'm kind of torn because in a way I don't think so, because he had him in the Super Bowl last year. But when you're 10-1 and then you collapse like that, that's one of them things that can be hard to come back from. And like, look at the Chargers last year. They collapsed in that playoff game when they were up 25-26-0. They ended up losing that game to Jacksonville. And that coach was never able to come back from that. Yeah. This season, it was like that carried into the season. They couldn't ever get going. And sometimes when you go on a thing like this, a big skid like they just went on, where they lost 7. They went from 10-1 to what? They lost 6 out of their last 7 or 8 games or something.
6 out of the last 7, I think.
And just and like last night, they didn't even look like they were inspired to play. I mean, they for a playoff game, there was no effort. I mean, I mean, I mean, it even looked like. I mean, it would probably been bad effort for a regular season game, let alone a playoff game. So that I think that could, and I think the big names being out there and being in Philly, we've seen them make rash decisions sometimes. So I think there's a chance he's going to be gone, but I don't necessarily. I don't know if I would say he deserves to be gone.
I think,
but like I said, when you have a big collapse like that, sometimes it's hard to come back from. I think what really hurt them, and I guess it is kind of an indictment on Sirianni, is he lost both them coordinators, and he went the guys he replaced them with didn't fit or something because both sides of the ball look completely different than what they did last year.
and that was the thing. Even though, and we talked about this, even though they were 10-1 at one point, we didn't believe. I mean, we didn't believe that they would.
Who do I compare them to? I told you they might lose their first playoff game, just like they did last year's Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, you did, and I mean, you didn't believe in them. I didn't believe in them either. So I'm not saying I expected a collapse like this, but I didn't. I didn't believe in them being the team that they were. I think losing them coordinators hurt. That's not unusual for that to happen. I think he should be given another year. With these coordinators, get new coordinators. Yeah, I think he should get a year to fix it. That's just my opinion.
You see losing coordinators hurt. I mean, and it does. You see it, but you also see a lot of times that it'll hurt. It'll hurt the most toward the beginning of the year, and then you usually start to see it get better. And that never happened. That never happened in Philly. On either side of the ball. And on the defensive side of the ball, they made a switch in the middle of the season and put Patricia in charge, and it got worse.
It got worse, yeah. Well, they quit for whatever reasons. I don't know what players they lost. I know they lost some players. They just wasn't a physical team like they were last year. They knocked people off the ball on the offensive line and defensive line, and they didn't do that this year. And I think that was the difference in the game and the lack of tackling. The tackling was horrible.
I think he'll be around for. I'd say he's going to be around for at least one more season. I kind of agree. I think you give him a. I mean, he was in the Super Bowl last year, so I mean he's proven. I mean he's done a good job for you. Had you in the playoffs this year. This year didn't go how you wanted it to go.
No,
but yeah, I kind of lean toward that he'll be there. Now it's going to be interesting to see what happens because they're going to lose Kelsey. I guess he's already, from what I hear, he's announced he's retiring. So that's a big piece of that team. But I know he's just a center. People don't consider that big, but that's a big part of that team. He calls out. He's the guy on the offensive line. He calls out all the protections and stuff. So that could be a big loss. And what's going on with AJ Brown? He took everything off of anything that had to do with Philadelphia off his social media accounts and stuff, and then didn't play last night because of a knee. So are you going to still have him? When he got there, that seemed like that was when Hurts got better.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting. And what are you going to do on the defensive side of the ball? I would say there's going to be a new coordinator coming in because you demoted the one guy, and then Patricia didn't do no better. So I'm assuming they're going to be bringing in a new. If Sirianni's still there, they'll be bringing in a new defensive coordinator.
I think they'll try to find a veteran, somebody that's done it.
Probably. I don't know who's going to be out there.
I mean, I remember the draft. Everybody thought Philadelphia had a great draft. They big things in Philadelphia. They start off 10-1. Like I said, that a huge collapse, no doubt about it.
Especially if you look in that 10-1 start. I mean, they beat some good teams too. It wasn't like them 10 wins was just all against the bottom teams. They beat some teams that made the playoffs in them 10 games. So I mean, there was times they played some pretty decent football. They just didn't look the same as they did last year. And then it just all downward spiral, and they could never get turned around.
Well, people were asking today on TV, which was the bigger loss, the Cowboys or Philadelphia? To me, the Cowboys. For me personally, because Philadelphia was already
they were. Philadelphia was limping into the playoffs, where Dallas was.
I picked Tampa Bay to beat them. I thought Tampa Bay was a better team right now.
Dallas was rolling into the playoffs, especially at home.
Yeah, at home. I mean, they had been beat almost 2
and
years.
everything had fallen in place for Dallas with Philadelphia losing and Dallas being able to get the division and getting the home game. You know what I mean? Stuff fell in place for Dallas to be able to get the referees screwed up the call there in Detroit, where Dallas might not have won that game. I mean, you know what I mean? So it was like everything was falling in place for Dallas. Dallas was on a roll. There was a total different feeling toward Dallas than what everybody had for Philadelphia going into the playoffs. Philadelphia was limping in the playoffs, and everybody.
Yeah.
The question about Philadelphia was, were they going to be able to turn it on for the playoffs and get back to playing decent football? And no, they got worse.
Yeah, I didn't believe in them. I picked Tampa Bay to beat them. I thought Tampa Bay was a better team right now.
I think Tampa Bay is going to give. I think Tampa Bay and Lions is going to be a good game. I think Detroit wins, but I don't think Detroit's just going to blow them out. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. And if Tampa Bay's defense can put pressure on Goff like they did on Hurts last night, it could be real interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think with the receivers they got, I think they'll be able to throw the ball some on the Lions defense. Now I don't think the Lions are going to tackle near as bad as the Eagles did last night. I mean, hell, I think me and you could have tackled better than that.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It's like they didn't want to tackle. It's like them guys already had their bags packed, ready to go on vacation or something. Because you'd see guys there'd be 3 guys around the guy, and somehow he would basically go untouched.
Yeah, it was really bad. That it seemed like a lack of effort. It really did.
I'm looking forward to this weekend's playoff matchups, even though I'm not going to get to watch a whole lot of it.
Not much.
I think next year we're going to take the month of January off from wrestling shows. Go back to wrestling shows
February
after the Super Bowl. Well, there's like a week break, so we go to a show there to go to the Super Bowl, and then I like doing the wrestling shows, but I would like to watch playoff games. Yeah. But then I think there's going to be some good games. I think 49ers and Packers could be, if the Packers can play like they did last week, that could be a good game.
Yeah.
I still have the 49ers. Have you seen the spreads though? Man, there's some big spreads.
Yeah, I figured the 49ers are probably going to be probably a 10 or 11 point favorite.
There's some big spreads. I was kind of surprised.
And Detroit probably, I'm just guessing. I'm not looking. I'm going to say at least a 7 point favorite. Got Baltimore and the Texans. I'm going to predict probably about 6 point favorite. Baltimore. No, a lot higher. Man,
Baltimore is a 9.5 point favorite.
I jump on that Texans.
On the Texans.
I think I jump on them points. I think
49ers are a 9.5 point favorite at home against the Packers.
That don't surprise me.
Detroit Lions are 6.5 point favorites at home against Tampa.
I said 6.
And the Bills are 2.5 point favorites at home against the Chiefs. I think the Baltimore's too high.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the 49ers one might be a little too high too, the way the Packers have been playing. And I could see them two being closer to maybe 7, 8 than that 9.5.
Yep.
At least 8.
I think the game of the week will be Kansas City and Buffalo. I think that's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be a good game.
Decided by 2 or 3 points, and it's going to be a good game. And it could be who's got the ball last. It could be who makes the mistake. It should be a real good game.
It's going to be interesting to see how Baltimore and San Francisco respond coming off the byes.
Yep.
Sometimes teams come out look real sharp. Sometimes teams look a little rusty. And And you're going against a team in the Texans that are on a roll and a team in the Packers that are on a roll and got to play last week and are coming in feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
Especially with the performances that both those teams put on.
I think San Francisco will be, if they're not ready, I'll be really surprised
Yeah.
because of the injury that happened last year, and they didn't get to go where they wanted to.
And I'd be surprised if the Ravens aren't ready too, because Harbaugh's he's one of the better coaches in the NFL, and he usually has his team ready. And Lamar Jackson's been playing pretty good.
But I tell you what, man, they need to jump on them because you don't want Texans to come out and get going, because if they get going, they could be dangerous.
And one thing that helps is being in Baltimore.
Yes,
Texans play better at home than they do on the road.
Yep.
But yeah. No, Baltimore needs to get off to a quick start. I agree. All right, tonight's games. Let's see. NBA tonight. There was only 3 games, so I just went ahead and gave a pick for all 3. I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets at the +1.5 on the road against the 76ers. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go with the Nuggets. Sixers played last night, I believe. Yeah, Sixers played last night. Nuggets didn't. So I like that it's not back-to-back for Denver. Last time Denver played was the night before against the Pacers. I think they beat the Pacers 116-109 or something like that. Then the next game is the Sacramento Kings at the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are 4-point favorites at home, -172 on the money line. The Kings are Kings are +144 money line. Over-unders at 244.5. I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns at the -4 at home. And then last game of the night, Oklahoma City Thunder at the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers are 7-point favorites at home, -290 on the money line. The Thunder are +235 on the money line. Over-unders at 236. I like the Clippers here at the -7 at home. So my NBA picks for tonight: Nuggets +1.5, Suns -4, and the Clippers at the -7.
I didn't do any NBA again. I did college and NHL.
Boycotting NBA still. All right. NHL. I'm going with the Avalanche on the money line on the road at the Senators. Capitals at home on the money line against the Ducks. The Blackhawks on the money line at home against the Sharks. And the Maple Leafs on the money line on the road against the Oilers.
Okay, man, NHL for tonight. I got Anaheim at Washington. I'll take Washington money line. I got Seattle at the Rangers. I'll take Rangers money line. And I got the Islanders at Winnipeg. I'll take Winnipeg money line.
All right, college basketball. I went with a couple games. I'm going to take Purdue, Indiana tonight. Purdue's a 9.5-point favorite. They're -500 on the money line. Indiana's +375 underdog. Over-unders at 149.5. I'm going to take Indiana at the +9.5. I think Purdue wins the game, but I think they'll keep it close. Rivalry. A lot of times these games are pretty close. And being at home in Indiana, so I have the Hoosiers to cover. Next game, I'm taking Kansas at the -7.5 on the road at Oklahoma State. And then I'm going to take Wisconsin -5.5 on the road at Penn State in a Big Ten matchup.
You gonna watch an IU game tonight? That's a Peacock exclusive.
I don't know. I probably will. Depends on what's going on.
Okay. My college basketball picks for tonight. I got Ball State money line at Eastern Michigan. I got Missouri State at Indiana State. I got Indiana State -12.5. And then I've got Baylor -2.5 at Kansas State. That's my college picks for tonight. You don't think IU can upset Purdue?
I just don't know if they can get enough offense going. That's my only thing about upsetting them. But I think it's gonna be a good game. Yeah, it should be. I think it'll be a good game. If I'm home, I'll probably watch it. What did you have? Anything else for today?
No, I really didn't have anything else. Not for today. You got a show later, don't you?
Yeah.
What, 7, I believe?
Yep. 7 with Glenn.
Big Glenn and the racing show.
Haven't had no big coaching announcements or anything. Everybody, no McCarthy firing yet.
I think that'll be if it happens. I think that'll be a week or so.
No Sirianni firing yet. Belichick interviewed in Atlanta.
Did he? A lot of people think that he may go to Atlanta.
Harbaugh was interviewing with the Chargers.
I seen a
Raiders still haven't announced what they're going to do.
I seen that some people wonder about Harbaugh going to the Chargers because that owner don't like to really spend money.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should. With the Raiders, they haven't made a decision, but I guess they can't fit. How much sense does this make? Because of that Rooney rule, they can't officially, like, if they already know they want to hire, that they're going to hire him, they can't just hire him. They still have to go through the process and interview 2 minority coaches and all this, even though you're hiring.
You're hiring your intern.
You're hiring from within, and he's a minority.
Yeah.
So what, you know what I mean? Why do you have to go interview 2 other minorities, and you're wasting them guys' time because you already know you're hiring it. This is the guy you want. That makes no sense.
I know.
But New England didn't have to do that because they had wrote a thing to the league back when they put that in that contract and got it approved or whatever.
That don't make no sense. You're hiring the guy that's been your coach at the end of the season, so that don't make any sense.
So I guess that could be some of the holdup of why they haven't just went ahead and went with Pierce, because there's been some of the Raiders players basically say that Max Crosby came out and basically said if they didn't make Pierce the coach, he might have to reevaluate if he wants to stay with the Raiders. Yeah. So I mean, they put some pressure on that Davis. And then last time it was like that with the intern coach when they had that Bisaccio, and they moved on from him, brought in McDaniels, and look what happens. I think it's going to be Pierce, because I think it'd be hard to do the same thing again. And you're taking the chance of losing some of the locker room.
Yeah.
But no, we appreciate everybody watching. We'll be back tomorrow right around 3:00. Another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. Join us tonight at 7:00 for the wall ride with Big Glenn.
Who'd you start to say?
I don't know what they all said. With Big Glenn. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.